Ladies and gentlemen, it's my very great pleasure to introduce Ken Arkwright, who is a survivor and who's going to speak to you about his experiences. Thank you.
If a dictator wants to control a country, he must know where everybody lives, where everybody works, and what everybody does. And all of you who would be 16 years or older, who would have lived in this period, would have been severely punished if you would have gone out of this building without your identity card. And this is my identity card, that's the real thing. It says German Rome, identity card. And why am I such a clumsy clot and hold it like that? Because if I take my fingers away, then you see my identity card was different to everybody else's. It had a big J for Jew on it. And so that I couldn't do that, if you open it up, you find in here the J again over all the writing. And there are my two fingerprints. Why two? Which fingers are they? They are this finger and that finger. Because some people were so desperate, they chopped off their finger to be able to go illegally over the border and not be identified with this card. But if you saw somebody with two fingers like that chopped off, you know there is a reason. So in 1939, war started. It didn't really matter what the world thought about Germany. Germany was winning the war at the time. It defeated France, Belgium, Holland, bombed England, Poland, and so on. And so why bother with things like that? It's much easier to mark people who are a danger to the country. And that I had to wear from then on. So that everybody knew who I was. And what does it say? It says Jude, Jew. And the writing is somewhat alike to Hebrew letters. And the French Jews had Jif on there, and the Dutch Jude, and so on and so on. And look how nicely it's lined. My mother did that for me. And why? Because a lot of thought went into it. We got one of those only. And safety pins were out. And it had to be stitched on the 6 corners of this Star of David. Whoever invented this thing, the 6 corners, must have been mad. Because at the moment the sun shines, and I would have been able to stitch it onto my shirt. But if it would rain by the time I go out there, I would have had to have in my pocket something to sew with and take it off and put it on my raincoat before I leave. Not to end up like Peter Zweig. And the lining was there to make that easy. Because if you stitch it through this rather flimsy material, you end up with it falling to bits and having to go to the Gestapo to ask for a replacement. And who would want that?
Thank you.